which is Lamar Jackson. He's been a hot topic for the last couple of years as far as his contract and whether he's going to get paid or when he's going to get paid. Actually, I think we all know he's going to get paid. I don't think it's a question of if, but when. But he put out a couple weeks ago the statement that if they don't have an extension or a new deal in place by week one, then he would pause negotiations and they wouldn't have any more negotiations. So my question is, if you were Lamar Jackson, right, because he doesn't have an agent, or if you were his agent, let's say he decided to hire an agent and you were his agent, would you advise him to play without having a contract extension in place?
I really, really thought about this one. And if Lamar Jackson was more of a pocket passing quarterback, I would say sure, absolutely. You know what? Be on the field, play, go, I shouldn't say earn your contract because I think he's earned his contract, but go out there, continue to earn your contract, continue to give yourself leverage in negotiation. But with that said, we all know that Lamar is the one QB in the league that, well, Josh Allen too, but he uses his legs more than any quarterback in the league, and he runs the ball a lot. So he's at higher risk for injury than a lot of these other QBs in the league are. So if I'm his agent, I don't know if I would be advising him. Should he play? I mean, depends on the perspective. A professional perspective and contract standpoint, I don't think Lamar should play because, again, they're going to expect him to put his body on the line more than most quarterbacks do. And yeah, I mean, injury comes up, boom. Now what? Now you really blew your negotiation leverage if something were to happen. So hey, you know what? You don't want to pay me. You want me to play without a contract. You make sure you design plays where I'm throwing from the pocket. You know what I mean? Um, but if I'm a teammate, if I'm Lamar and I'm looking at my teammates and my guys, I'm playing. That's just a competitor in me. That's me. And my brothers saying, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go grind. I'm gonna put my body on the line for you guys because that's what you guys are doing for me, so on and so forth. So there's different perspectives, but I mean, you asked me if I'm his agent, and if I'm his agent, I'm saying absolutely do not get on that field without a contract.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So you mentioned obviously from a teammate perspective. I would say obviously from a teammate perspective, you want to have the best opportunity to win. Lamar Jackson's going to give you the best opportunity to win. So you're like,
Right.
yes, please show up, please play.
Yes,
I
please.
think that we all know he's going to play. So that's why the question isn't is he going to play
Yeah,
or will he play? Because I think we all know he's going to play. He's made that clear.
right.
I think I will say this. I think that if he does not get injured, Lamar Jackson is going to be an MVP candidate this year. He's because he's betting on himself, right? It's a contract year. And you know how running back, just like running backs, wide receivers, every other position, when it's a
Yep.
contract year, they put in that work. And quarterbacks are no different, especially a guy like Lamar. But you're also right. I think part of it is not just it being a contract year. He's just one of those guys that loves to play football and loves to be around his teammates and
Right.
compete. So I think that's probably the biggest reason that he's going to step on the field. Now, with that being said, if I were his agent or if I were Lamar, I could be wrong, but the answer to the question would be not only no, but hell no. I'm not stepping a foot on the field at all until we have some new paperwork with some ink on it. Because the reality is for Lamar Jackson, because he's got an MVP, because he is so dynamic, because he's so unique, whether it's Baltimore or another team, somebody's going to pay him a lot of money, a boatload of money on his next contract. It's a fact. It's a given. Okay. Um, so again, if I were him, what I would do is I'd let the Ravens start the season with Tyler Huntley. I'd kick back at home and watch them lose a few games and wait for my phone to ring. And it'd be my agent say they offered us $250 million. It's all guaranteed. And they want you to be there tomorrow. And I'd start packing my bags. Until then, I'd be sitting at home because that's what they should be offering. To be honest with you, you also can look at it from another perspective. We've seen guys like Kirk Cousins bet on himself. Dak Prescott bet on himself, got injured, a gruesome injury, and still ended up, getting a massive contract. I think Jerry Jones kind of painted himself in a corner in that situation. And even with the Ravens previously, we saw Joe Flacco bet on himself and win the Super Bowl and get a huge contract, which at the time was I think the biggest contract in NFL history. So we've seen it happen before where guys do bet on themselves, have a big season and cash out. So I mean, but like you mentioned, Lamar puts himself in harm's way a lot more than any of those other guys that I mentioned. And I think that's the difference to where if I were him or I was his agent, I'd say, hey, because of the way you play and because they built the offense around you to play like that, we gotta have a new contract before you get on the field. Otherwise, if he gets hurt, I mean, the Ravens might do right by him, but who's to say they're going to be like Jerry Jones and do right by him? They might just say, "Hey, sorry about your luck," and move on. Then he loses all of his leverage with them at least. So that's my opinion.
No, I agree with you 100%. And here's another perspective too that I want to give you. Just aside from players going and betting on themselves and earning their contracts, what to say about an organization where within your same division, the Cleveland Browns go guarantee $230 million to a guy who's not going to be on the field for the first 11 games of his tenure with the team and just face 24 sexual assault allegations.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Lamar, I'm looking at that going, listen, I'm a class act quarterback here. I've given you no troubles. I've done nothing. I've been top notch. I've done everything that you've asked me to do. It's time to pay me.
Won an MVP.
Won an MVP. I mean, so there's so many different ways you could look at it. And that one right there alone to me is a big one, with the fact that Watson did get that big contract, and he's right there in that same division. Yeah. Like he's in the same division. So what does it say about the Ravens organization and the respect that they have for Lamar Jackson, the way he's done for them? Even within their own division, they got the Browns giving out $230 million guaranteed, fully guaranteed to Deshaun Watson, who can't even play for him right now.
Yeah. So that says two things. It brings up two questions. What does it say about the Ravens? And it also, what does it say about the Browns?
Right. Well, you know how I feel about the Browns.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I think we're in agreement. If we were Lamar or Lamar's agent, we would not play, but I think we both know Lamar is going to play. And hopefully he stays healthy and balls out.
I'm a fan. I hope he plays, man. I want to see good football. Yeah.
I love watching him.
Just as long as they're not.
All right. No offense, Tyler Huntley, but I don't think that you are anywhere near Lamar Jackson. So that's all. All right. Let's keep it moving. Again, we'd love to hear your thoughts on whether you think Lamar would play. Are we right? Are we wrong? Leave a comment, like, and share.